Today we're going to cover the B1UP print and delivery solution, but specifically we'll focus on the mass delivery part of that plugin. Next slide. Not going. There we go. So today we'll just talk a bit about what I'm going to cover, then we'll jump into a demo and then do a Q&A after. So if you've never heard of B1UP, it's also known as B1 Usability Package. It's a really amazing framework that you add to SAP Business One that adds a ton of functionality. This is a very narrow look at one of the parts of that functionality, but we have other videos on this. It adds everything from native dashboarding to form customization, automation, little sort of features and stuff like that. So B1UP, I think, is critical for all SAP Business One users. So definitely look into that. But today we're talking more about the print and delivery plugin. So B1 Usability Package covers a lot of stuff, and then you can add a plugin that will specifically handle printing and delivery of emails with much more features and functions than you can really imagine in the out-of-the-box SAP solution. Out of the box, you're basically using SBO mailer. Nobody really likes that. It's difficult to use, not really customizable. The print and delivery module for B1UP is the Ferrari of add-ons in that regard. It can do almost anything. So I really recommend that. Today, specifically, I'm going to show you just a little bit about print and delivery and the customization aspects of it. And then I'll show you kind of what the mass delivery part of it does. It's not super visually appealing, let's say. So I'll kind of more talk about what it's going to do, and I'll just show you the output that the user would see. But basically, mass delivery allows you to either manually trigger emails, printing, etc., or you can mass make files. You can basically handle bulk document printing, delivering, or handling, and then basically allows you to send them through a manual click, or you can have them scheduled through the server. So really, in a video, it's not really that interesting to see. We can watch the robot auto send something, but you kind of get the point of how it's going to go. So let's jump into that a little bit more. I'm going to show you what the email does with the print and delivery, and then we'll kind of touch on where the mass delivery fits that and why it's really useful. Because you could basically set up your emails, have them all automatically worded. You can do conditional wording, conditional attachments, and then you can just automate them when you're ready so that the server will do all the work and they'll send all the documents for you. So say your order desk can just do their work, and then the server will automatically send everything out to them. So just a couple more points with the print and delivery solution. It's really nice because it's direct to Exchange. So, you can use SMTP. If you're a technical person, you can use SMTP, but you can also go directly to Office 365. So it connects direct to Office 365, and with the credentials, it will send directly out of your inbox. You do not need any middleware program. So this is amazing for salespeople. Salespeople could log in, they could just make their quotes, make their orders. They can send from that remote machine. The remote machine will connect directly to Office 365 and send it. You don't have to maintain any middleware close proximity on a terminal or anything like that. So it's really amazing. It's really simplifies things. Same with the mass delivery solution. It will send directly through Exchange. You don't have to think about it, but if you want to see if the emails are sending, you can actually go into the emails sent box and you'll see all those emails that the mass delivery robot is sending for you. So it's really nice. If you're using SBO mailer, you might not have any clue if it is actually sent or not, especially if you're using SMTP. So that's a really huge benefit. Also with print and delivery, you have the delivery log if a document has been sent, and a lot of other nice features like that that I'm not really going to demonstrate. So let's jump into SAP now.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. Just a comment on that, because SBO mailer, when you're sending things out of SAP in mass delivery, it won't keep a trace in your Outlook, whereas print and delivery will. You'll see everything that you sent.
Yeah, and if something bounces, you'll get it immediately
Exactly.
back into your inbox. So it basically goes from, like, you know, SBO mailer, I don't want to say too much bad stuff about it because it will work, but you kind of like, it basically, you send it and you don't know if it went out or not. And because of the nature of SMTP, it may or may not get to the customer, because there's a high chance that a spam filter would say, you know, hey, this is kind of fishy because it's redirected. But when it comes through an exchange, through Office 365 directly, it is as if that, you know, that mailbox had sent it. So I found that with all the customers using it now, that there's a much higher rate of delivery for all this documents. So you don't get kind of blocked and filtered out, which is really nice when you're sending account statements. You know, they can't claim that they didn't get it, right? So let's go to the demo system. So this, for example, is a B1UP dashboard. This is just my basic system. This is pretty much out of the box right here. So, you know, as soon as you get B1UP, you get this kind of stuff. I'm going to go to a sales order. And I'm going to just demonstrate what, you know, the kind of the contrast between, you know, B1UP's print and delivery and SBO mailer. So I've set this to preview. Normally, we're recommending you don't need to preview your emails. You can edit them here and add things if you want. This example is formatted in HTML. So you can see that there's quite a bit of difference between the SBO mailer output and the B1UP print and delivery mailer output. So you can see that we're using full HTML. So this will send as an HTML. It made a table here so that it outputs the 2 items from the document. I've dynamically put the names of, you know, the people that are involved in the document. I have dynamically put the sales order number. So this is something that you don't have to do anymore. It'll format all this stuff. And best case scenario, especially if you're going to use mass delivery automation, this can be formatted really nicely to, you know, you can match your Shopify outputs, you can match your company branding with colors and HTML and photos, even if you want. And then the order desk doesn't even need to see it. It's, again, very similar to an e-commerce style platform where you can format it all and then the server will just deliver everything and you don't have to have people thinking about it. And if you, even with mass delivery, set for a customer to receive it by email or to not get it by email, maybe they use EDI or something, you can control with the mass delivery who gets the emails. So it's really nice to filter that way. So this doesn't really look that great for just a regular user, but just to show you that the attachments are dynamically named as well. So, you know, with the output of SAP, you get kind of a string of the date, time information. This can be even conditionally crafted. If you're a project-based company, you can also, you know, say, you can use SQL filters here to include the name of the project or any of the fields or anything you want to dynamically name the PDF, or at least have it you know, named nicer than whatever it's going to be out of SBO mailer without anybody touching it. It's all done automatically. So in this case, I have it set to just send and save in my draft. So I'll just give you a kind of example here. I'll send it and it will immediately show up here. You can see how fast that was. And that converts that HTML into something visible. It's, you know, not the greatest formatting I've ever done. I guess for a demo, I could have added more fanciness to this table, but you don't have to have this table. This is conditional output. It still has our sales order PDF here. It has all the nice wording. And then the point of this is to kind of say you kind of set up your templates and then you can just kind of forget about them. And then you can let the system do the system's thing, and you can see when the documents have been delivered, and you don't have to worry about it. And it just does its own thing. So a little bit further with that, again, looking at the details of what they call report actions, you can customize this. You can add all sorts of placeholders and SQL and fancy stuff here, the attachment template name, the name of the subject of the email. You can add all sorts of addresses based on many different features and functions there. You could do it through SQL. You can add BCCs or CC the sales employee directly without having to do any work. So if you always want the sales employee for that order, maybe there's an external sales employee, they can just be auto CC'd on all correspondence, whether that's orders or invoices. And then you can choose how you're going to deliver those particular documents. You can add additional attachments as well. So some customers will add a price list to all their orders. And all of these templates can be either selected for languages or different conditions. And you could, say based on a property of the business partner, what you want to do. So, if you have multiple lines of businesses or you have totally different formats or different things like that, you can basically customize this however you want in a programmatic way so that you don't have to think about it as much. And even if you still want to deliver this manually, you could still have this just created the way that you want based on those templates, and you can still manually send it or resend it even without using the mass delivery. But again, the beautiful part about mass delivery is it can be run through a manual process, or it can be fully scheduled through the server component sent through the server itself. So you don't have to even think about it. Okay, and it doesn't have to just be email too. I have a note here that it can be printing, it can be saving files to a location. If you do archiving, you can save, some people are obsessed with their network folder format, archiving. You can dynamically save a bulk load of invoices and have it just make your folder structure for you based on whatever you want. So you could have network drive /invoices /customer name /PDF. If that's something you want to do, you can also process that type of stuff, but primarily it's used for emails and printing. So printing is the same thing. Instead of looking at a focus on the email button, you would have your printing outputs. So you can detect in the document if it's in warehouse A or warehouse B, and then print to a specific network printer right from the server. And it allows you to basically just filter that through the mass delivery and then deliver that or email it however you want. So the mass delivery is really flexible. You create your own or we would help you to create your own SQL filtering. And then that would basically select based on whatever the criteria you're saying to do the delivery of the documents. Again, it's not really that impressive to look at the setup, but you can just kind of think like any way that you can put data in, we can read it and then spit out emails and or print jobs however you want. So something that does make more sense where I can actually show it to you is account balances. And this is something that drives a lot of the print and delivery demand, where people now in SAP Business One, there's no automated way to really send out nice account balances. And the layout for the account balances is really not that customizable or flexible. So that's a huge driver, and it natively comes with your print and delivery system. So right out of the box, you can just go sales, you can go, sales, mass delivery. I'm going to choose account balance. This is by email. There are more options here, but this is just the basic one where we're going to email it. You could conditionally do groups of emails, groups of prints as well. Some people really want their printed letters. So you could do a print, The print layout would already be optimized for a double window envelope. So you would do a batch of email ones and then a batch of print ones. Then you just fold them and put them in the envelope, blah, blah, blah. Those people will have their information. So we pick account balance. This one I'm just going to do for email. I did a preview. Again, this can be just running on a date, specific date of the month, and this will just send it all out. Or all you have to do is preview this. In this case, I've just filtered it just for myself, but you could have potentially up to thousands of them. And so I would have a whole bunch of different customers that had a balance outstanding. Again, you can filter for customers that, you know, do get account balances. You could say, don't send account balances to these people. And this will filter and give you a different list. I just picked the one because I didn't want to have a whole bunch of stuff there. So once I check what I'm going to send, I push OK. And this will do the process of emailing and creating the documents. And then I'd pop into my drafts and you'll see another one here. So this is coming from a central location, count balance. And this again has the dynamic template. It's not really that impressive, but you can see the account balance here is output, and you can customize this however you want with all of the information you want. It's a fast layout, and this is all completely included with your print and delivery. So this is a huge driver, and this will get you a ton of value right out of the door, like right out of the gate with Business One. Save you a ton of time. You can customize this. And then when you're comfortable with this, you send it manually a couple times. You could even just use the mass delivery schedule. And once you have all your parameters set up, you like the layout, everything's working good, you could basically forget about it, right? So it's a really nice way to do it and a great use of print and delivery.
Hey, Mike, I've got a little question here from Manu.
All right.
Just a second here. How to set to send payment advice via Excel? Some vendors require it in PDF and some in Excel. Do we have to create a separate template? Also want to insert a special message for individual vendors.
All right, perfect. Great question. I was just about to do the payment advice. I don't understand why they call it that. Okay, so the second most common use of this that's directly out of the box, very, very quick, is payment advice. People that are using EFT payments need a way to alert their vendors that they have paid. So we look at the payment wizard. We're using the payment wizard. The payment wizard generates all of the documents. This totally separate video, but you basically automate a bulk group of payments, generate an EFT file, upload it to the bank, which will do the disbursements. But how does the vendor know? How does the vendor know that you've sent it? So with mass delivery, I've made a little button here, email payment advice. I think it's advice. I'm really not that clear, but email payment advice. So this will trigger the payment advice by email, preview. Oh, I've already done this a couple times. So do a couple of these. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to run through. It's going to make the documents. And then same thing. This will just detect what the payment wizard run was, and then it will output to your drafts. And then we should get 3 appear here. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the options there for the mass delivery. So here, boom, boom, boom. This detects, says you EFT payment, and it attaches by nature a PDF. Question from Anu, hello Anu, is if you're going to send this by Excel. Yes, what I would recommend is the easiest way to do this is to send both a PDF and an Excel in the same template. So you would go and we would look at the setup for the report configuration. So I'm not going to get too crazy in here, but I'll go to report configuration, try and find payment advice here, payment advice. So I only have the email right now, but what you can do is make a second row here. I would really, really recommend doing a second .rpt. And the difference here between the default Outlook or outgoing payment, like say this document, and the one you would make for Excel is the Excel Crystal report should not have any gaps between the fields. Okay, so you make it, simplify it, make sure that every field is like directly butted up next to the field, so it comes out in a nice table format. If you use a default crystal report, it'll have a lot of space in between. So you'd see here, there's a lot of gaps. If you look at where these things are, Excel, this will be a nightmare for Excel. It'll like try to put fields everywhere, and it simply will not work. I'm actually doing a couple of these right now for an implementation. You have to align the crystal report so that it comes out in a really nice tabular format. But once you do that, you can make a second layout, make a second row in here. So you'd have your CR0002. You'd put the email in here just to include it. And then you would swap this to be an Excel type. And then you could rename this payment advice and call it, Excel. And then this will be included with the original PDF so they can print and view that. But then it would also include in the same document or in the same single email, it'll include the second Excel layout with the Excel formatting. The one thing you have to note is you need to go business partner level with maximum grouping and group both of these so that it sends only one email. But if you have the same, basically make the same email report, make sure it groups, it will send the single format, but then it'll just include both attachments. May have gotten a little technical there, but basically you would have a second crystal report there that is a different .rpt formatted for Excel. Take your same email action, duplicate it, but then switch the attachment to Excel for this row and make sure you set grouping on. And then boom, every time you send it, you'll have both a PDF and an Excel. The people that want the Excel will get the Excel, and the people that want the PDF can use the PDF. Why not just send them both? It's easier just to send it to both. Why not? They could just ignore it. For a special message, I'm not really sure where you want to drive that from. If you want to drive that from within the payment wizard, it's a little more difficult. There's not really that much place to put it. You might in the document, maybe if I go through here in the specific documents, let's go here. Maybe there's a column here where you can add notes, or we can add a column in there. Here's a free text. So you could probably use this free text, and then on the row you can detect based on the free text what you want to put in the email. If it's a static message to that particular vendor, you can just put it in the customer's information in the business partner master data, and then we can pull it out in either the email, the PDF, or in Excel too. So like I said, kind of like the message here is if you can put the data in there, we can pull that data out. So that's a pretty standard way of thinking about it. Showing you the setup, that's kind of what we do. But you just have to know that if you have the data there, we can manipulate it. So hopefully that answered the question. You can do Excel outputs, but I would make a new layout for it. Do not try to use a crystal report that has a lot of space to do an Excel layout.
Does that answer the question for you, Anu? Yes. Okay, good. And just Mike, before you pursue, I just want to say, even us at Forgestic, before we had print and delivery, it used to take like 3 days just to send out statements of account. Mike set us all up with it, but it would take 3 days just to get the PDF out and send a personalized email, so it would leave a trace in our email. It takes like 5 seconds. We just click on. We do it manually and not automatic, but like Mike said, you could set up a schedule so that it automatically leaves every month on the 1st, but it literally takes like 5 seconds. You just click in, statement of account, you get the whole list of everybody. And we have some customers that are in French, some are in English, and we just go send, and everybody receives in their proper language with their PDF, with their statement of account. It's really amazing the time it saves. 3 days it used to take. So thanks again, Mike.
Anytime. We do not just for our customers, we do it for ourselves too.
Exactly.
But and two, thinking about that too, I mean, if you want to get to fully automatic statements, I could even do a schedule like a couple of days before it's going to auto send it. and it will give you a single email that will summarize it and tell you who it's going to send the email to if you need that, and then you can look through that. If you don't need to make any changes, then the system will automatically do it too. So you can even use the mass delivery for like one thing I've just done, and I've done it a couple times, is sales employee reporting. So if you want like a daily summary, you can output a nice HTML summary of, the sales employees' orders that were put in that day, the sales employees' invoices that were put in that day, what the sales volume was for the week or for the day. And then that would just summarize the day every day if there was something for that sales employee. So that's really nice. You can use it for alerts too. So if you want to email alert when something new, say a goods receipt has been made and you want the AP department to know when the goods receipt's done, you can alert the AP department when a new document's created. So all sorts of stuff like that. It's not just for delivering documents. It can be used for alerts. It can be attached and used through any object as well. So pick lists, I know Jocelyn, you're in here. Pick lists is one too, which is something that we commonly automate, and anything else you can kind of think of. So that's it for me. Again, I'm not really going to show you the mass delivery setup. Just trust me when I say you can basically just write any query you want to pull results that you want. Yeah, it's a great use of print and delivery.
I have another question here, Mike, from Iman.
Yeah.
So a few customers who don't receive any emails, mass delivery, there is no record, either an error log or delivery log. I had to manually push the system to send an invoice. Hang on here. And do you have any thoughts?
For print and delivery, or for
Iman, you have print and delivery?
Or for SAP?
Just a second. You know what, Iman? I'm just going to unmute you here. All right. Let me find you. Allow to talk. There you go. Ask your question. Did I get that right, Iman? Yeah, you have no mic. All right. So okay.
So was it like so here, for example, is the records for this particular sales order. And this is saying when I did what I did here, so I can know at what time and what date the email was actually sent out. I can also put that on an easier to see field, or I could just make a checkbox that would say, hey, anytime it's delivered, if it has been emailed, just put a little checkbox in a checkbox there with B1 up or something like that.
Yeah, you know what, Iman, what you could do, just to say, because they do have print and delivery error log. You know what you could do, Iman? Just open a ticket at the support desk, and they'll get one of the consultants to check in and see. Oh, you already did. Okay. You want to send me a little email or call me after the web session, Iman? I'm just gonna write here my sure. Okay, here I go. Just a second. 418-317-0665.
Yeah, so it depends. Like maybe it truly wasn't sent by mass delivery. Like maybe it just was filtered out. So I would probably start with just looking at the mass delivery, and then you can trigger it, and then you can do a preview. And if you still don't see it in the preview, that means that it was never included in the mass delivery configuration. I said I wouldn't really show this, but let me see what I have here. Account balance. So it could be something like this. See, I filtered this for very restrictive filtering. I only wanted my card code to show up here. So you might have, some aspect here. You might have some column. You might have some column filter there that's preventing you from seeing that particular document, so it'll never get delivered. So if you put together this query and run it through like SQL Management Studio, we could tell you if it would have even been handled by mass delivery. So that would probably be where I would start with that question. But yeah, get in touch with us, and we can escalate that as needed. Close this, close that, and back to here. So any more questions with that, or we can always take it offline too?
Yeah, let us know if you have more questions. I'm in just to answer your my phone number. I have it right there, 418-317-0665. just call me after the web session, and I'll make sure that the ticket gets resolved. So does anybody else have any more questions regarding print and delivery?
Yes, may I ask a quick question?
Go ahead, Jocelyn.
Hi. So Mike, because we are only getting, I think maybe 5 or 10 people to get a B1 app license. How about other users? What windows are they going to see?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Actually, I didn't cover the licensing. So for the mass delivery portion of that, inside of, let me go back here. For the mass delivery portion to see this, you have to have a print and delivery license. So for you guys, you have to have B1 up for every user. So all the users will see a similar form here. So they'll be able to see the form, see the buttons, all this customization, this is all included with B1 up, so that all users have a consistent experience across the database. They don't have to like have some look at the sidebar and some look at this. But like you're saying, inside, if they don't have B1 up, it will not use this system. So that's why, we kind of say, if you are sending emails or doing printing, then you would want the print and delivery. I think for you guys, the thing to remember is that anything run on a schedule does not need more print and delivery licenses. So if you do something which we're planning to do for the pick lists, if you have it scheduled here, so I don't know if I have anything really scheduled in here, but what we'll do is we'll schedule this. We'll schedule something here. We'll call this pick list, say, for example, and then all the individual users don't have to do anything like that. We will just set up the mass delivery to be run by the server. It will go through on the server by itself, and then it will issue all those pick lists directly to the printer in the shipping area. It won't need every user to have that, but the users that don't have a print and delivery license cannot manually trigger it from within SAP. But that's in that regard, it's not really required. But say for you are going to do an account balance run, and you wanted to send out all those account balances, but you don't have a print and delivery license, you will not be able to send it manually. So you have the choice to either fully automate it or have a print and delivery license. And anybody in, say, an order desk role or an invoicing, an accounts receivable role, or anybody that needs to send it and you want to have a consistent feel of the emails through the print and delivery system with the better email format, you would need them to have a print and delivery license to do that as well.
So anyone actually using it will need a license. And those don't actually use it, it doesn't have to be licensed for all users, right?
Only for the print and delivery part.
Yeah.
The B1 usability package has to be covered. So keep in mind here that they're separate things. So you have to have this. B1 Up is not a tool. It is not a tool that's used to make the customizations. It's a framework. So you see here that there's B1 usability package and then print and delivery. In my case, this is just a test system. But everyone has to have this one, but not everybody has to have this one. So this is separate license.
So once our B1 app go live, everybody will have to have B1 app license first of all, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then
Print and
second,
delivery hooks on to B1 Up.
Yeah.
and then so first, when we go live with B1 app, everybody has to have the B1 app license. And second, then everybody will see this dashboard new window, and then but some people can have the delivery add-on, or some people don't have to have delivery add-on. But B1 app is required for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Including the license, B1 app license.
You have to have a B1 Up license for every single user. Yeah.
Oh, so the whole screen, the window will change, look like this dashboard, whatever, right?
You don't have to. No, by default, there's no dashboards. By default, there's no change. You do not have to have the dashboard for every single user. You can conditionally show, like I have just a whole bunch of random stuff because this is a demo system, but you can you can customize every single aspect for every single user for all of these dashboards. Like by default, we don't turn them on. So say for, you know, any management person, they would get this. But by default, I'm not going to enable it for everybody. I'll probably just enable it for you and a couple other people from the organization. And then you can tell me who should get what dashboards, or again, in the future, we will develop new dashboards, you know, something for the warehouse to use that has a list of open pick lists, you know, et cetera. So you don't have to see this out of the box, but licensing wise, everybody has to be running the B1UP add-on,
Okay.
you know, consistently, and then that allows you to do all the customizations. Again, my sales order looks like super funky here. Your initial sales order will not look at all different initially, but the plan is, like, I never want any user to use this sidebar. This sidebar is just a nightmare. It's a joke, and nothing's in context, and it's impossible to use. So I know you guys are comfortable with it, but my goal is to add, you know, fields directly in context within the sales order so that a user would look at it. They don't have to scroll through this. And if you need, we can add additional tabs in order to have additional fields placed there as well, or reports here too. So without that, without B1UP running for all users, you would need to maintain a sidebar method and also have the sales order. So that's how it goes. So the thing about B1UP is it's a framework. We will progressively build more tools for you. And then out of the box, the dashboards, a lot of these do come with it. So we can deploy these to the users you want. And then we can also, you know, figure out other dashboards and then either build them or adapt these ones to show or hide information. And then we can actually custom put those for specific users. So we could have an order desk dashboard that's specific to that group of users, etc. So it's really customizable.
I see. So it's pretty much like for your own personalization of Windows. You don't have to have it. You can only have manuals if you choose, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So again, that's why it's kind of hard. It's kind of a hard thing. Like, it's kind of a hard thing out of the box where people will buy it and they're kind of like underwhelmed, you know, like initially you're kind of like, oh, well, this will address a problem like the pick lists or account balances or payment advice. It'll make emailing easier. But again, progressively as we go, you know, either you can build these, the tools are built in there, you know, users can build these, or we work together on the dashboard and I can help to build the data source. If you can write SQL, these are all 100% direct SQL powered. So you basically use SQL to generate it, and then it's like Excel. You can just build a chart, throw all these things there. You can drill into specific things, drill directly from the dashboards into data within SAP. So it becomes an extremely useful tool to either summarize data, or you can actually, like, I don't know, I think this one is a bit better. So supply planning. So this will allow you to have, like, buy a particular item, and then you can actually drill into specific information, filter things, you know, filter by date ranges, and yeah, build your own stuff. So I love B1UP. Sometimes it's confusing to kind of explain, but you know, it's very
I've got a little thing that I want to mention in here too, Jocelyn, because I have a question in the side box right here, Leila. Yeah. So she says, when you say everyone needs B1UP, she said, we have over 160 SAP users, but only the finance department, maximum 10, will be using the print and delivery. See, they're going to be buying B1UP for print and delivery feature. Yeah. So in that case, you know, we could, you know, that's all right, Leila. The reason why we always normally sell B1UP to everybody is there's so many features in B1UP. I mean, you can't even, it just does a lot of things. So if somebody's buying B1UP to add features inside a business partner window with drop-down menus and different information, if somebody does not have B1UP, they're not going to have access to the drop-down menus or the additional information that's inside the window. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a nightmare, like, because people will want to do validations and customization, and like I said, you have to maintain two separate functions for every single thing, and it's basically it's not possible. So doing it for the 10, you know, it's highly not recommended, but
We
it
could
is.
do it though, Mike, in the sense that
Yeah.
they're only getting it because they want, it's just the finance department. We could, but what Layla has to know is if ever they're using other features that are in B1 Up, they could affect all of the other users. So in
Yeah.
that case, they'd have to add on the other licenses. But, you know, Layla, you could call me afterwards. All right. If you have any other questions.
I would highly recommend buying it for all
Yeah.
users. I mean, even at the cost, like you're gonna find ways to use it. Like, trust me, you'll find ways to use it, and
It does so much, you know.
we can work on that. So,
That's
but
right. That's right. So do we have any other questions?
Sorry, just one more final last one. So just anywhere other available online resource, or you just provide this webinar?
no, I mean, there's so much stuff like Boyum. You just search for B1 Usability Package.
Oh.
And there's online there's an online e-learning course. You can do a full course from Boyum. They have I don't know, at least 100, if not hundreds of e-learning videos step by step on YouTube as well, not just mine, but they have their own. They have a full manual that's very detailed. I guarantee you'll be able to figure it out. It is something that's really nice once you figure it out. And like what I really love about B1 Up is like somebody says, oh, you know what, it's difficult for me to do this thing, or I always have to go and click, you know, I have to click over here, click this report, click this thing. And you just want to add a button directly to the form that will pull up the information directly. So I want to see like what, you know, on this particular form, like what batches has this customer bought from us? So, you know, you can get that information, modules, inventory goes, and you go and do that stuff. But very quickly, you can just automate a macro that will pull the information and instantly you have a report there, right? So very easy. Can you do macros? You could do you know, you're probably familiar with this form. So you have kind of retail versus wholesale stuff. You know, it's kind of ugly here. You can't format it. You can't add golden arrows. So something that you would be interested in is you can format them, put the query right into the menu bar and manually format golden arrows. All that you could definitely do by yourself. To start, I can kind of help you off, but the question was, are there resources? There's tons and tons and tons of resources. The manuals, the videos, just literally search B1 Usability Package by Boyum. And you can go through that and look for the I don't remember what it's called. I can send you it later, and we'll obviously get into it more together. But there's a help. There is a help e-learning portal where you can go through step by step and actually get certified in. You know, I don't know how many hours the B1 Usability Package one is, but it's not too many. But it'll give you the overview of how to get into the program too.
Great. Just it looks all brand new windows and the manuals. Just want to see if any available that I can search. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. I know you'll be able to do it. Okay.
Do we have any other questions? No, that's it. Well, thank you, Mike. Very interesting, as usual. And if anybody has questions or you know what, just send me an email there, tracy@fragestic.com. I take care of all the in-house customers and I try to help you out as best I can. So just send me an email. Thank you so much, Mike, and have a nice weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.